10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Oh, yeah. Everybody ready, cause it's time to go. Welcome to the new Prem Panel Show.
What is
I rate the new
going on,
intro.
people?
I can't lie, that was sick.
Yeah. Vibes. What's going on, people? What's going on? Welcome back to another Prem Panel Show. We're two people down. Happy birthday again to Aaron out celebrating. You know what I mean?
Indeed, blessings.
Yeah.
Have to.
Big up, Aaron, for your birthday, man. But now we've got Lewis and KG as always. Big up, boys. Welcome. What's going on, man?
Bro, I'm ill. The international break's been dead, and just to add insult to injury, we got that lanky little giraffe, Walad Thibaut Courtois as the thumbnail. But we move. It's all good. Yeah, we don't forget. Still out.
That's why I'm glad that Lewis is back for this one, you know, still, because that's going to be the meat of the show today. Obviously, we're still on international break, so there's not much to chop up apart from obviously when we get to the end when we do the predictions for the weekend. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's just get into it then. So speaking of the devil, you say, Cal, Matt, how you look? I mean, I was with you earlier on, Matt. What's going on, Cal? You good, bro?
I'm there. Work, but you know, we have to move.
Yeah, man. 2-0 last night, 3 points on the board and that.
What are you talking about?
Jamaica beat Honduras 2-0 last night, bro.
Oh, yes, I saw it do it, you know.
Yeah.
Come on, man, you know. Fire for them, you know.
It's looking a little better. The table's looking a little better now. It's looking real dirty before. I didn't like looking at it.
Roof did hit it into the roof.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's get into the meat of it then. International football is obviously a major part of the way things have been for the last 2 years. We crammed all of those Euro qualifiers in. Then we had the European tournament. Now we're cramming all the World Cup qualifiers in and friendlies and Nations League and all the other stuff that's going on right now. So international football is becoming almost like maybe a quarter of the football we watch throughout the year now, whereas before it used to just be like a real bit part kind of thing. So Courtois come out. I'm sure all of you already know what he said, but just to paraphrase, it's all about money now. The powers that be are only doing what suits them money-wise, and they're not thinking of the health of the footballers, and we are basically playing way too much football. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'll start off with Lewis, actually, because obviously to you he's a Walad. Try and take away what Courtois said because you hate him. But obviously I know you're not going to be able to help but throw in how you feel about him. But in general, what he kind of brought to the table, how do you feel?
Yeah, he made a good point. He made a really good point. Yeah. You know that meme where it says the worst person you ever know has just made a good point? It's literally this one right in the flash. He's spitting facts. I mean, he doesn't do it a lot, but yeah, he is spitting facts on this situation. I can't lie. And it's been something that we've known, but we just haven't really spoken about too much just because that's just the way football is. And we've known how money-hungry football has become over the last 15, 20 years, just to a point where we've come to accept it for what it is. But the fact is, like, these football players are being heavily overplayed. And if anything, it's going to keep getting worse until you get to a point where players are constantly getting injured because they've been burnt out. And there is a question of how you stop this and how you also find a way to schedule football correctly to get the most football out of the teams that you have in the competitions and everything, as well as protect the players as well. And I remember we were speaking about on the overlap as well, because this is a topic that came up too. And one of the things that people were speaking about potentially was instead of having all these international breaks come month after month after month, you just dedicate like a full month to it, as opposed to just breaking every single month for it. So then you have like one international break throughout the entire season, and that one could just be qualifiers. Or they could potentially be a Nations League tournament as well. And even if you do that, then suddenly you can end the season a little bit earlier as well, because because of the international breaks, we have certain games where we have to play in midweek. Like there's always a midweek fixture in December. There's always a midweek fixture in January. I think you also see a few of them pop up in April and May as well, but that's usually if there's just still fixtures that need to be played and you're into the run in to the end of the season. And that's also another period where it also gets really tough for players as well. But we know exactly what it is. It's about money. Football is such a massive business these days. It's to a point where there's literally football-based universities now and everything like that. That's how much jobs there are in this sort of sector. But there is a point where it's like, where does it end? Where does it really end at? And it's good that players are talking about it now, because it's only going to start if the players do start speaking out about it. So hopefully Courtois isn't the first player that starts talking about it. But you got to find the happy balance between profit and protection. And I don't think it's there yet. I think it's early days now as well, because like football's only been in this sort of position for the last 5 to 10 years. So it's always going to be in that rise. But now we're at a point where you need to figure out how to protect these players as well. And I think we're at the case where they're starting to find out methods for that, but we just have to wait and see on it. But yeah, the Walad made a fair point. I'll give him credit for that at the very least.
KG, obviously I want your opinion on it, KG, in terms of like how you feel about it, but kind of piggybacking off of what Lewis was just saying about the breaking for 1 month. I personally would do my absolute nut if I had to wait a whole month until Premier League football came back, if it was in the middle. If they did it at the end, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but then that would be a bit weird if it was the year of the World Cup, because then you'd have qualifiers and then the literal World Cup will be just after the qualifiers. So it would have essentially be like 2.5 months of international football just all rammed together. So how do you feel about that? And then obviously, what do you think in terms of what Courtois was saying?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him. And I just hope that it didn't get lost because Belgium didn't win any of the games. Obviously, you're always going to get a large amount of people that will just think very, very surface and think he's only saying it because Belgium didn't win it. I would hope he would have said the same thing if they had won the whole thing. But he's right. There is too many games. And I think Bielsa said something like this of, if you reduce the game so player welfare, but then they have to also accept a reduction in salary too. So it has to work on both levels. But I think it's just like with ice hockey, there's 82 games in a season, and that's way too much. Everyone's always amped up for the first 10, 15, but by the time mid-season comes, it's a bit like football too. Everyone starts to get that little middle of season malaise and everything else like that. So yeah, they could be doing with less games. I mean, for me, it was more of an issue when we were in the championship with this, when there's like 46 games in the league season as well as the cups. So this has been an issue going on for a long, long time. Courtois makes a good point. Yeah, absolutely. Reduce the games. The Nation League, and as good as those 2 games were, by the way, because one of the semi-finals I watched was wicked. The final was good itself as well. You could live without it. You really could. Last international break, there was 3 games. I mean, that is too much, And people saying they get all this money, they should be able to do it. The human beings, man, not lab rats. Let's be realistic here. They can only do so much at the optimal level. If you're looking for them to perform, because you see it, don't you? They'll play good in the first game, but by the time the third game comes, they'll be knackered, and people are like, well, why didn't they play good in that one? Well, listen, they're human beings. They can only do so much. So, yeah, absolutely, there's a good point.
No, fair play, man. Before I come to you with your opinion on it, Cal, just quickly, we got a few super chats to get through, bro.
We have indeed. The first one from Jamrock. Big up to Jamrock as always. Tapper needs to pack up and go even after that win.
Yeah, Whitmore's not doing the best of jobs for Jamaica at the moment. Still,
I can't even lie. I can't lie. That Jamaica team is better than what it's looking at the moment.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
100%.
Indeed.
Hopefully they'll improve. Aspect Limited says overplayed, but also overpaid. Can't have it both ways. They come hand in hand. So if you asked him to half his wages and play less, he says no. I want to come back to that personally when it comes around to my turn, if possible, please, Drew.
Yeah, no problem.
Genie Houdini says, fellas, I'm worried about Liverpool's midfield going forward. We're missing a bit of athleticism, a Genie type player. Thoughts?
Take a note of that for me, Cam. We'll come back to that with the second segment. So if you could take a note for that, we would definitely chop that up, Genie.
And then Jamrock's got one more here. Courtois also said that UEFA, the Premier League, FIFA, and TV pundits were the ones that criticised the Super League because those teams want money, but UEFA wants money.
UEFA are hypocrites, though. We've all known that about them. You all remember them talking about being for the fans and everything, and they gave you like 17k allocation for the Champions League final. So they've always been a load of arse.
Yeah, 100%. So on that, Cal, obviously you can touch on that the super chat you want to touch on after, but I'm gonna twist it a little bit, so I'm not asking you the same question because I don't want it to get repetitive, because I kind of think all of us do have a very similar belief system from what we've been saying in the group with our group conversation and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put a little bit of devil's advocate in this, and I'm gonna switch it around a little bit. Are they being paid way too much money to complain? You get a situation in life where you choose a career, whether on purpose or it just falls into your lap, that you go with, and it makes you the top 1%. Everybody knows that the people, I think this is factual, don't quote me on this, but from what I know, people who make 100 grand a year or more are 1% of the entire population of the world.
No, I think that's 10%. I think millionaires are 1%.
Are you sure about that?
I think so.
Because 10% sounds a bit too much. Okay, well, either way, the point I'm making is it's a very small minority of people who get to experience that level of money. If you look at how many 7.5 billion of us there are in the world or what have you, right?
Yeah.
If you are being asked a lot in your job, but you're astronomically paid, I made a comparison in our show, but I'll switch it up a little bit just to make it even easier to understand, because somebody working on a building site is a very specific job. So I'll even just use a general job, retail, which is something pretty much everybody almost does in their life at some point, even if it's just while they're at college or whatever. Everybody works in retail at some point to a degree, so people will understand this more. You are being paid peanuts, essentially. It's minimum wage, £6-7 an hour, whatever it is that you're getting paid. And you are rushed off your feet all day. You get no break. You hide for 5 minutes. Someone's coming looking for you. Where are you? Why aren't you on the shop floor? Why aren't you on the till? Why isn't this delivery sorted out? Like, you are hounded for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, for your shift. Hounded. And you make not even £100 a day, especially after tax. And you are knackered. And you got to come in the next day and do the same shit. God forbid it's Christmas. God forbid it's Easter. It's sale. It's January the 1st. It's all those things where you are just like, if you work in Sainsbury's or you work in Tesco or you work in JD Sports at Christmas, your life is an absolute nightmare. Your pay don't go up and the pressure gets worse, right? There is nobody who can tell me, even though I'm playing devil's advocate, this is my personal opinion, there's no one who can tell me that a footballer who goes and trains for a couple of hours a day and then plays at the weekend is being told to do something that they hate doing, the way somebody who works in retail is being told being told to do something and they hate doing it.
All right, Jeff, I'm gonna be real. So go on. So I thought you finished.
So I know there's some people who are going to say, but to them it's just a job, and I do get that. But at the end of the day, even if you don't love football, I don't think anybody playing football can tell me or can say to the general public, playing football is a chore. I hate it. Like, football's the worst thing in the world. You might not love it like some others, but I don't think anybody would say they hate football. Do you get what I mean? The way if you talk to someone who's in a job because they just need to earn a living, and they're like, man, I hate my job, but I can't leave it, or I'll get kicked out, or I won't be able to pay my rent or whatever. So in that sense, where you're very, very handsomely compensated for your job, can you really moan about how hard your job is when there's people who truly get paid peanuts to work hard?
Yes, you can. And like, I'll be honest, the whole money talk is the thing that frustrates me the most. And do you know why? Because again, people might come at me for saying this, but I just caveat it straight away. I've worked in retail from the age of 16 up until early 20s, and I worked in a phone shop, and I was also a shop floor manager a lot of the time as well. So I know about the stresses, not in the same way of maybe a JD Sports, but I know about retail stresses. When it comes to retail, without being condescending or rude to anyone, you don't necessarily need a skill set to work in retail. Let's be honest, it's the first job a lot of us get. Why? Because we're coming out of school or we're still in college and we have very little or next to no experience. We start that job at 16, which is a legal age in the UK, right? Footballers effectively start their career from the age of 6 or 7. So from the age of 6 or 7, mums, dads, guardians, parents, whoever are traveling up and down with these children who are missing out on a bit of their childhood because they're sacrificing something for something they may not even get in the future. The percentage of players who try to become footballers and don't make it is crazy. So they're sacrificed from the age of 6 or 7 when their friends are 15, 16, starting to go out, 17, 18, starting to go out. 9 times out of 10, they can't because they might have a match in the morning or whatever because they need to make it. Like the ones who go out and party, they're not the ones that make it. It's the ones who don't. They're the ones who go to bed early. They're the ones who make it. So they're sacrificing from the age of 7 years old, probably starting to get paid properly from around the age of 21 and stop getting paid properly maybe around the age of 34, 35. So they've got a 13-year window where they need to collect as much money as possible to sort out friends, family, and themselves, as well as their future and their potential children, etc. The whole notion of people shouldn't be complaining because they're making money, for me, is crazy. They earn their money. Let me put this. I can't put any clearer. They earn their money. They're not robbing anyone. They're not stealing. They're not doing anything illegal. The reason they get paid so much is because they bring in so much. It's the same reason we have a problem with certain fighters in the UFC or certain boxers getting underpaid, because without them on the billboard or without them on the football pitch, the people above them who aren't even spoken about, who get double, triple what they get, don't have to go on Twitter every night and see abuse because they missed a penalty. They can walk down the street. Like, we can all walk down the street right now and no one's giving us any grief. You go tell Messi to walk down the street now, brother, and he doesn't know if he's getting home tonight. It's as real as that, because you've got an idiot out there who might try him just to make a bit of headline or get some clout. These men work bloody hard. And for us to compare them to builders, I'm not even having a dig at you, Drift, but for us to compare them to builders and other jobs, those were chosen. And again, bruv, I get you. Building is a hard manual labor work, and I admire all builders out there. But bro, when their shift is finished, they go home, they switch off, and they don't have to worry about it anymore. A footballer cannot switch off, bro.
All right, so let me to keep.
No, bro. Remember, you can't use the extreme, bro. You got to use the general.
No, but you use Messi, which is an extreme, Cal, because every footballer's not Messi. Do you get what I'm saying?
All right, bruv. Jamie Vardy can't just walk down the road in Leicester, bruv, without getting stopped. Bruv, he could be with his kids, bruv.
I hear that.
He could be with his kids sitting down having a coffee, bruv. Man are going to be walking over.
Wait. Listen. I'll give you an even more extreme. Ali McBurney for Sheffield United punched up a guy because he wanted to try him while he was on his phone, and McBurney handled him and his phone.
Thank you.
So that's a lesser example. You don't even have to be a Premier League player.
Fair enough. But also, so to keep devil's advocate going here, it's quite fun playing devil's advocate, Cal, actually. I know why you do it. All right, so to continue with the devil advocate, but I'll come to Matt because obviously I don't want to leave you out, bro, yeah? What Cal's saying, yeah, whether you agree with it or not, NHS workers, doctors, surgeons, lawyers.
I knew it was coming.
No.
Please.
Defense lawyers who deal with child abuse cases and horrible stuff, not just criminals, like things where like the person is a vulnerable person who needs that help, make nowhere near as much as a footballer. So their job is very, very important to the actual running of life. Without doctors and emergency ambulance services and all that, people die. And they don't make anywhere near as much as a footballer does. So is it really footballers do deserve all of the money when there's people who arguably do way more than they do if you look at the grand scheme of life and don't even touch the type of money they make?
See, here's the thing. Because, like,
can I ever so quickly say something? Sorry, man. I know it's your question. Can I ever so quickly say something, no drift?
Yeah.
Footballers' pay shouldn't come down to raise the pay of nurses, doctors, firefighters. Just bring their pay up. It shouldn't even be. They're two separate.
No, I know, I get it. But obviously, this is the argument that's why I asked Matt the question, because there's a lot of people who feel like because football is just a game, and because whenever something big in the world happens, you realize, oh, football doesn't matter that much. That's a real life issue. There are people who will actually say, well, it's ridiculous that somebody who puts their life on the line every day to save lives and do this and do that ain't making it. So that's what I'm saying to Matt. Like, from what Cal's saying, do you agree or do you disagree with what Cal's saying in terms of, are there people who it's not really a good argument that they earn their money when there's people who actually earn their money a lot more than footballers do?
No, but here's the thing. Obviously, we understand that nurses and practitioners and whatnot what they do, in my opinion, obviously it's like it can be life-changing. Football is a sport, so it's not life-changing, right? But at the same time, the world that we live in, Drift, is this. Those people that work in the NHS, like he was saying, for example, they are severely underpaid. They're just underpaid, bro. And as we say, it shouldn't really affect. It's not a footballer's, he didn't make his salary. It's the world around him. It's the entertainment. It's everything around him that kind of makes the value of football as sport as a whole. Sport is massive in the world. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So if that's the case here, we can't really be always having a go at them and saying, oh, well, they get paid this amount of money, so they just put up and shut up. Yeah, we understand they get paid a lot of money, but just like the nurse, though, they're still human beings, though. It's just a different practice. They practice sport. Someone else is practicing surgery. Obviously, in my opinion, there's still one that's higher than the other, but at the same time, they both don't pick their wages, bro. And I think that's the problem in society, and it shouldn't be blamed on footballers, in my opinion, because it's not their fault, bro. We have to keep it real.
All right. On that caveat, though, before I come to Lewis, just quickly, Matt. Then you said they don't pick their wages, but effectively they do pick what they do. So then, can you moan if you made the choice? Because no one asked you to be a footballer. You wanted to be a footballer.
So hold on. So that's basically saying. So say when I was younger, I wanted to be a baller, right? I don't know how much money I'm going to earn, but I think there will be quite a bit if I can make it far.
Come on, we got to be honest.
Okay,
you do
okay. But that's if you make it far, though. That's like me saying I have to be in the Prem or Championship or whatever. For all I know, I could just make it Sunday League, bro. Do you know what I'm trying to say? The whole point is this: you shouldn't feel away because I want to make a career out of something that I know that's going to pay me a lot of money. That's how the world is. I can't change that. If I wanted to work in the NHS, yeah. Let's say I actually wanted to work with them, I would choose the NHS if I feel like that's what I want to do. So we shouldn't take it upon footballers to be like, they're just chasing the bag, but they love the sport. It just so happens entertainment in this world is massive. Well, it's one of the key things in this world. Entertainment.
But my question
alongside sport.
No, I get that, but my question is, but can you moan when you know what it entails? Because you know what football is about.
Bro,
can you get into it and then continue to moan even though you know? That's like saying, I'm going to be a fighter and then I moan when I get punched in the face. But you know that comes with the territory.
No. But what we're saying is this, though. What we're saying is this.
Sorry, Matt.
Yeah.
This is what I was quickly going to say, just quickly, yeah? All right. You're saying, can they really moan? Well, yeah, they can, because just because someone's kicking a football and getting paid a crazy amount of money, but they're still human beings. You see when we all talk about the money thing, and this is another thing as well. You see how money make the world go around. Money will also make the world stop. The people higher ups here are trying to get the most out of footballers, yeah, which I believe still is unfair. Like, see how we all complain as club supporters. Oh, when it's internationals, all of us go, oh, this is just too much, man. They're playing 3 games a week, then they're gonna come back and play in the club team, bro. They can only do what they can. So just like how when KG was saying, like how, bro, they're not robots. Like, they've got lives as well. Yes, they understand the industry that they're in, but they still should be allowed to live their life, bro. That's like saying whatever they're told to do, they just got to do it, no matter what. Because you earn a certain amount of money, I don't care what it means. You just have to go and do that. That's even taken away, like, that's taken away a lot, bro. I can't lie. And as Carl said, they've sacrificed a lot as well. We do forget about things like, bro, when they're training, their body's being sacrificed. When they're eating, they've got to be on certain regimes. When they got to go, bro, there's so many things they got to be strict on. I think
missing
people
out
just
on their
think
kids.
people just think like, oh, you wake up, you're a baller, and life is just great. Bro, half of them, bro, some of them train on Christmas Day and then come back in the evening.
Yeah,
There's
I get
things
that.
they miss out on.
I mean, before you, but I still hold your question, Cal, because Lewis, you wanted to say something quickly, bro.
No, I was just gonna say when it comes to footballers earning wages and like the importance of their job compared to like lawyers and doctors and everything. Like, I don't know if we've already addressed it, but like we already know like sponsorships and brand deals and everything else comes into account, as well as TV deals. Hell, the huge reason why these football players even make the sorts of amounts of money that they do now is because of the TV deals and the amount of money in that sort of side of the football game as well. And I feel like we're all aware of that in itself, but like it's just to add that to the conversation too.
Yeah, can I just add something too?
Go
on this Good Morning Britain debate here. But like, it would be like, the players are playing 3 internationals a week. They're getting paid well, and by the 3rd game, you still expect them to keep high performance. Be like a doctor in America that gets paid by the operation, and you want him to do a 6-1 on that day. Would you really trust that doctor to have a full concentration for that 6-1 at the end of the day? Probably not. You can't just expect it because of their profession. You know what I mean? It don't work like that. Again, doctors need focus. They need focus on their operations. Just because they're highly paid doesn't mean it's going to be a great job by the 6th operation that they got to do on that day. So there is things to consider on that. And also this thing about the whole footballers getting paid so much. They get paid a lot, but just remember the owners get paid more. So it's not an issue for footballers.
No, very good point. I mean, because like I said, playing devil's advocate is quite fun. One thing I like to, because I remember Cal said that to me one time, and something that did come to me is, if retail, for example, if we want to use retail as an example, I don't know if it's fair to always use the argument that footballers should make the money, because if they don't, the club will, because the club as a business, as you want to say it, kind of represents all businesses. And we know that Jay Sainsbury's, or whatever his real name is, he's a multi-millionaire, and the people who only earn £7 an hour make him that money, and they don't get compensated for him being a millionaire. So Jay Sainsbury's or Tesco or JD or whatever, they are the equivalent of the football club. So sometimes in life, you do just have to go, that's just life. It's how it goes. He was the one who started the business. He's the owner. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Like, can you always turn around and go, oh, well, why should he make that much money? I should make it as well. Because nobody in retail gets to say, I should be earning this much money when I'm the reason why the shop's running or ticking over, or do you get what I mean? Like that can be the other side of the argument.
I agree with that, but I also agree that those people should speak up, and there should be a movement to change that narrative. But even with the footballer pay and other pay, we're YouTubers. Now, obviously, we're not making that big money, but there's YouTubers out there getting well more money than the nurse and doctors, bro. Like, and dare I say it, brother, as a YouTuber, people say footballers can't complain because of the money they're on. But if I get racially abused or someone says something about my wife or my kids, bruv, should I just take it on the chin because I knew that's part of what could potentially come with the role? No, bruv. It's not on. Like, when
I think abuse and hard work are 2 different spectrums there.
But footballers get, bruv, we've all been abused on this channel, unfortunately. It's happened, isn't it?
I've been abused in retail, though, if I'm being completely honest. I've actually been abused in retail.
Same here.
I think you get abused anywhere.
No. But look at the disproportion of abuse we get, whether it be retail or on a YouTube screen, in comparison to footballers. But these men will misplace a pass and it will go around for years. I do
Look
it.
at Saka.
I do it.
Look
Bruv, I
at
still talk
Saka.
about Fred misplacing passes all the time, bro. Like, I do it. And I do it in a banterful way, bro. There are people in there sliding into DMs or making tweets and messages, abusing these people, abusing their families on a day-to-day basis. That is a lot of sacrifice. Not to mention going out there and having, as KG said, having to perform week in, week out, sometimes twice a week at the highest level in front of tens of thousands of people and live and then millions watching. It is crazy how much pressure they're under. And they have to do this weekly. Again, I'm not saying fighters get everything they deserve, in my opinion, in terms of the financial compensation, because what they do is crazy. But how many times does a fighter fight top level opponents a year? Once, twice, 3 the most. These lot are going out and playing at top level opposition once, twice a week. Brother, it's a hard slug being a footballer. Just because the money's good, it doesn't make the job any easier. It's a hard job, bro. A lot of people wouldn't be able to do it.
All right, so KG, I want to come to you on this one. Is it fair to, and the guys, I'm going to go to the super chats after KG makes his point. Don't worry, guys, we're not forgetting them. Cal's taking a note of them for me. So what Cal was just saying there, and again, I'm just asking the questions here, so don't shoot the messenger. Is it fair to compare other things to football in terms of the love? Now, we all see the comedians that make the jokes and stuff, and we always relate to it, like Chris Rock and them that always know there's a difference between a job and a career. And what a career normally is a path that you wanted to go down because there's a passion. With the passion comes joy and happiness. And that doesn't mean that you're always going to be along for a great ride. There'll be ups and downs. Life is just like that in general. But you like, oh shit, is it 4 o'clock already? Because you're enjoying what you do. You're in a career. There's not enough time to get done what needs to be done. Whereas when you're in a job, we've all been there. I'm pretending I'm taking the shit because I just want 15 minutes time out. Like, it is what it is. My day is just, the minutes are just, I can hear the clock ticking. That is how long my day is taking to go because I'm in a job. Is it fair to compare a career with a job when we're making the comparisons about the things they go through and stuff, when, for the most part, let's forget about the people like your Balotellis and that, like maybe they were just so skillful, they did it, but they didn't really love it. If we're being honest, and I know I'm generalizing, but I don't think what I'm saying is too far off based on educated information. 80% of footballers actually love the game and it was a passion, and then they were good enough so they made a career out of it. I think we can safely say it's a minority of footballers that don't like it and just do it. Most footballers love football, right? So is it fair to make a comparison with normal jobs where you're saying, oh, but they deserve this and that, when it's like, no, but you love your job. You actually are doing something you pick because you love it. And surely going to work when you love what you do is easier.
Yeah, but it's all about the conditions of the job, isn't it? It will be like a band. They love playing music. They love going on tour. But if their tour bus isn't set up correctly for their instruments and themselves, they're going to have complaints. That doesn't mean they can't complain about it. It's also a thing in the career as well. Music, again, going back to music, bands love playing music, but they ultimately want to get signed so they can sell millions of records because they want to have a career where they don't have to worry about money after a certain age. It's the same with footballers, same with movie stars, same with everything else in the entertainment industry. It would just be like if Bleacher Report came up to you guys and said, we want to partner with you. Here is 500K. Don't worry about it. You three are well entitled to that.
I would say absolutely not.
Okay, yeah, no, but what I'm saying is you three would be entitled to that, and you wouldn't have to feel bad about Nurse or anything because of all the work you've put in. Hard work isn't just about saving lives and all of that. It's appreciated, but you go into that knowing the pay scales. They're not a secret, so you know what you're gonna get. You can only hope that the pay scales will increase, but if they don't, you kind of knew what you was getting into. So as a footballer, you're always going to be aiming for, you know what, I would love to earn 300,000 a week, but if I'm on 20, okay, but I would love to get to that point. And it's all about the work you put in. So it's two completely kind of different things when you're talking about a job compared to a career.
No, fair dues, man. Fair dues. I'm going to come to Lewis with my next question, but just quickly, Cal, can we get through the super chats we've had coming in, bro?
We can, bro. Let's do it.
Big up everyone in the chat as well, man. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you go in the description of the video, KG's channel, Lewis, everyone, Aaron, everyone's in there. Make sure you go and subscribe to everyone's channel as well, guys. Spread the word, hit that notification so you know we're coming out, and you know what I mean? Keep it moving. But yeah, go on, Cal.
So Jamrock says, Cal, remember I told you this is why I became FSG in. So Jamrock's referring to the fact that UEFA are very corrupt as well, but we're trying to play good guys and play victim when the whole Super League thing happened, which I agree with Jamrock there. AA said, Cal, you had me till you said they don't steal a living. I know a guy who's stealing a living on our bench. Adrian is stealing a living. that's the extreme. That's the extreme. Rayan, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Big up my bro Lewis.
Big up Ryan, my G. Come on.
Oh, you know him, yeah. Cool. Liverpool, Chelsea fan, isn't he? I think.
Nah, Liverpool.
Oh, is he a Liverpool fan? See, look at that, bro. We might as well bring you on board, Lewis. Just rip down the flag and change the top. We'll speak after the show. We'll speak after the show.
About rip the flag off and everything.
I'm not even gonna lie. I can imagine Lewis will look good in red still. I can see it already.
Sick,
I can see it already.
Red Defo suits me, just not the Liverpool badge. Like that's gonna ruin the whole thing.
Jamrock says, Drifty, the market sets wages for the players. You don't have to pay them as a club. If you choose not to, and you can choose to overpay them if you want to. It's not their fault.
Remember, I'm just the host, guys. So nothing I'm saying is my opinion. So I'm begging everyone just start coming
it's
for
not
me.
Easy being the host.
Yeah, if everyone's speaking, I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, you don't see my DMs after shows, bro. John Moore says, Cal, you get my mail on Twitter. Love this channel. Would love to come on your channel one day and talk about something important. Love you guys. It's okay to not to be okay. I'll be honest, John, bro. I've not checked my DMs once. They've been completely off like the chain in terms of busy, but I will catch up with DMs and I'll catch up with you, John.
But the end of that, it is okay to not be okay. I'm a massive advocate for that because too many people don't get to say they're not feeling their best because they're worried that everyone's going to put them down for it. So I agree with that 100%.
Indeed. A-Spec Limited says less games equals less money from the broadcasters equals less wages. How many players are willing to make that compromise? That'd be interesting. Probably not many.
Yeah.
All right, well, hold tight. I'm going to bring that question back to Matt. So, Matt, remember, and get your answer ready, I'm going to ask you about if they played less football, but then they get paid less, would they then be moaning about that? So hold that question. Lewis, I'm going to come to you on this one, because this is something else that I've heard with this whole discussion.
This next one is jokes. Ash says, Ronaldo ain't had apple pie and custard and he's 36. Hashtag sacrifices. Nasri been having a double serving since he retired.
It's so mad though when you see footballers though.
Have you guys seen Nasri?
Yeah. Belly's going to get you in that, innit?
That's the real Nasri. So when he wasn't having to wake up at this certain time and train but that's how he actually wants to live his life. That's how some footballers are.
You can see that with like Wayne Rooney, and you can definitely see that coming with Luke Shaw. Like that guy's going to be huge. Yeah.
Shaw's gonna probably he's gonna have a restaurant of his own, bro. You can already see it already.
I mean, I don't know if they can moan that somebody is giving them the right food to eat to extend their life. But yeah, I get the point. If you just want to be an unhealthy guy and die of like heart disease at 45, 50 or whatever.
Drift. If I said to you, Drift, you're not allowed to have any alcoholic beverage from now until for 20 years, you can't have one alcoholic beverage, bro. But if someone said to me right now, I can't have this for 20 years, bruv, I don't know if I'm taking the deal, bruv.
All right, just to put myself in there on an actual personal level, because obviously I've been neutral this whole time. When I was younger, I was an athlete, as I've obviously told you, like I was asked to run for England. I've done marathons, I've done championships, whatever, and I was good. I'm not bigging up myself, but I was good for my age. They asked me if I would do certain things, and the sacrifice to do that was too much. Anyone who's an athlete knows, and this is years ago now, so things have probably changed now, but back then sports science wasn't as good. So I wasn't allowed any sugars. I wasn't allowed anything sweet. I was only allowed protein and carbohydrates on set days. Pasta was pretty much all I knew, and I hated it. I was a child being told I couldn't have this, I couldn't have that, I couldn't have ice cream, I couldn't have all this. And it was a bitch. Don't get me wrong, I hated it. And it's one of the reasons why I kind of thought I would rather be a footballer than an athlete. But if I'm being honest with you though, if I could go back, I would tell that younger me, suck it up and do it and be running alongside Usain Bolt. And I know hindsight is obviously a bitch.
That's what I was just going to say.
But the point I'm making is that as a grown-up, though, with maturity, I realized that sacrifice wasn't actually that bad. It's only at the time it felt bad because everyone else was eating ice cream and McDonald's and doing whatever. But when I look back on it with maturity, in all honesty, I would have done that sacrifice if I could tell myself to have been a high-level athlete. So it can swing both ways. Do you get what I'm saying?
How do you tell a 12-year-old, yeah, you can't go out with your friends, you can't go to Ufters, or you can't go to McDonald's because you want to become a footballer when you're 19 and sign your first professional contract at 17, bro. Like,
what one thing I will say as well, and again, I'm trying to sit on the fence. I feel like depending on who you're
sorry, just to confirm, I'm not calling Drifty and alcoholic people now.
yeah. We know that. It depending on who your parents are, and I think this is a valid point I'm gonna make because usually you don't become a professional footballer without dedicated parents either. I think parents always play a massive role in no matter what you do in your life. What about those parents that are very strict with their children on exactly the same level, but their profession ain't gonna make that much? People who want their kids to be doctors, lawyers, and those type of things, they're not allowed to go out. Their parents make them come in, have strict bedtimes and curfews, and they don't let their kids do anything, and they don't get to make the type of money footballers make, and they make the same sacrifices. I bet you could talk to loads of people who've grown up to become those professions, and their parents never let them do the same things almost, and they still don't get to make the type of money footballers make. What about that argument?
No. Please don't go into this argument, man. Come on, man. Let's move on to the next thing, man. Come on, man.
All right. Is the super chat's done?
No, one more. So
Okay,
Aspect Limited said players who complain about too many games are probably the same ones that don't like being rotated and rested. Managers should rotate more. That's depending on. But again, this is the thing. For all right. So I'm going to use Klopp as an example. We've got Watford at the weekend, yeah. Let's say Klopp decides to rotate and he goes Minamino, Origi, and I don't know, bloody someone from the academy up front, and we get pammed 4-0. You think Klopp's gonna have a comfy night that night?
Yeah, it's
again. This is the level we're operating at. It's the top of the pile. Like Premier League footballers and the quality they have is maybe in the top 5% of the whole population of the world. Like, that's the levels we're dealing with here. Like, these top quality athletes, like when you see in Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury knocking lumps out of each other, bruv, the average man is not even lasting 30 seconds in that ring with one of those two. Them man went 11 rounds. Like, we have to understand the levels of these superior athletes. They are superior athletes. They put themselves through hell. Like, and I guarantee you,
I think fighters is obviously a hard one because their life's actually on the line, so it's a bit different, isn't it?
All right, fair enough, but brother,
you could die with one punch, so like, you know what I mean? I think that's a little bit more of a harder example if you go on.
But you get the premise, though, bro.
No, I completely understand the point you're making. I just think a punch, you can literally die as soon as you're punched in the face, so it does make it like a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, but obviously, I completely understand where you're going in terms of high level like athlete and stuff. But obviously, so all right, 2 more questions because I want to move on to the fun part, and obviously I don't want it to be too serious. But I think it's a discussion that just needed to be had because it's been going around a lot. So remember your question, Matt. Yeah, I'm going to come to you in a sec. Lewis, I'm going to end the second to last question with you. The argument I've heard is that there's no other job where you can take a day off and be paid. There's no other job where you can not be like, I mean, and the reason I'm coming to you is because Chelsea had Bogard, who for 6 years did nothing and collected 65 grand a week. And that was back when 65 grand a week was a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that there is a fair argument to the people who say, as much as they are under massive amounts of pressure and they did work hard to get where they are, when they get to the top, they can actually take their foot off the pedal and basically get paid for nothing, which is what we kind of call nicking a living as a joke. What do you think of people who say that?
It's possible, but it always depends on the circumstance. Like, that's if you're at the top level and you're also successful at it, then you don't really take your foot off the pedal because you're successful at it, you're winning awards, you're achieving your aims and everything like that. So your focus is on other aims. It's being the best football player that you are. It's being the best asset to your team. Like, you use Winston Bogard as an example. I can use the present day example. Danny Drinkwater's on 120k a week at Chelsea, and he's in the exact same situation where he's just running down his contract because he knows he's not getting into the Chelsea team. He knows his options are very limited, but he's also on a fat ass paycheck and he's not getting a quarter of that if he goes to another club. So he's going to sit there. He's going to focus on what his number one benefit is, and that's the paycheck. But that's because he's not a successful player in his current situation right now. So I understand what you're saying with that point, but I think it all depends on the circumstance. It depends on the player. It depends on the club that they're at and what their ambitions are, because that's the case if the ambition's dropped. If the ambition isn't dropped, then you're paid handsomely regardless, but you're going to focus on more than just a wage. You're going to focus on wanting to be successful. And it's only when the success is gone and the ambition is gone, then it only really becomes about the paycheck after that.
Yeah, and I just want to add as well, in terms of the career and job, you also get people that work in offices that literally do the bare minimum and let the rest of their team do the work. They're getting the same pay as the rest of the team that are working hard. So it goes in all different sectors. The best example of a footballer probably is Michael Johnson. If you remember him, he's a central midfielder for Man City.
Man City, yeah.
He
I remember.
was really good, a really good player. Yeah. But he just didn't have it in him. He didn't have it in him mentally. And he started to make up that he had injuries here and there. He signed a new 5-year contract. And I think he went on loan to Leicester for one of the years and just collected the money for the rest until they bought his contract out, I think. And by the time it was like maybe 3 years into that deal, he had a picture taken of him in the chip shop. And he was huge because he just couldn't do it anymore. He didn't have the mental capacity to do that. So it does happen in all kinds of sectors for different reasons too.
No, 100%, man. I agree.
So Matt, just on that as well. Sorry, are they not just honoring their contracts?
You say that, but if I pay you to do something I've seen you do previously, which is why I'm saying I want you to work for me, and then you deliberately down tools because you've signed the contract now, there is the morality of like honoring you can't really say honoring your contract, you're taking the piss, isn't it?
No, but there's deliberately downing tools, but there's also just not really having a pathway to a squad. Like, I see a lot of people in the comment section saying Chelsea, and Chelsea's a perfect example of it because we have 70 players in our squad, and to a lot of them, there's no pathway into the team. So, and especially when we put them on wages like that, where we've got players like Barkley, Bakayoko, Drinkwater, all on 100k a week plus wages. You don't really blame them, to be honest, because sometimes it is the fault of the club. You're the ones that put them on those fat ass wages. Yeah, and when you make it that favourable, of course they're going to honour the contract. They would like nothing more to honour the contract because you've given them fat ass wages.
No, fair point, man. So Matt, just quickly, you remember the question I was going to ask you, bro?
I can't, I got lost in the sauce. I think it was oh no, did Carl have it written down? I can't even remember.
I've got it
in it.
Well, why are you remembering that? I just want to say, I thought you brought this topic up anyway to begin with because, this is a Liverpool channel, as we know. And I thought it's because you had a 12:30 kickoff on the Saturday. And you're just getting your excuses ready just in case what will pull up on my
No,
you know what Kate just did there?
He tried to reel us in. Don't bite, bro. He just don't bite, Matt.
Is this why Kate is wearing his Leeds top today? Because someone got spoken about. Must have put on his sword and shield. Yeah, is that you tonight, Kate? Yeah. All right, cool.
You know what? Forget the question I was going to ask. Let's get to the fun stuff. Let's get to the fun stuff. Let's get to the fun stuff
tonight. No, I'm joking.
Matt, Flacco, he's been talking a little bit still.
Yes.
I feel like he's been talking to you though, bro.
Did you know my middle name was Deco? You know my middle name was Deco. Listen, all right.
What are you saying? What are you saying, Rafinha? Now, he didn't come out and be fully disrespectful. He just said, "Raw." From what I heard from Rafinha, from the agent, and from rumblings in the summer, I thought Liverpool were going to make a proper bid for Rafinha, and Liverpool would be purchasing him.
Yeah.
What do you take from that? and how do you feel about hearing him being open and honest?
All right. So, firstly, it's good to know that there are some Liverpool, I don't know, higher ups out there that do listen to what I say, because I've been talking about Rafinha for a long time. And KG knows this. We go back and forth sometimes, and he understands how I feel about Rafinha. So I fully understand where he comes from as well when he says things like, how are you going to get him? How can you afford him? Firstly, I'll say this though. I was quite surprised that Fabinho was that open. But one thing I have noticed though, and it's kind of, you see it more these days when players go off to international duty, they do speak a lot more openly than when they would like when they're overseas over here. So they have that kind of freedom to speak.
It's like, you know, they say you speak your truth when you're drunk. It's like playing for your country makes you drunk almost, innit? You just start spilling all your truth. Like.
For real. But I will say this. What he said kind of didn't shock me at the same time, because I think we spoke to a journalist, I'm trying to remember who it was, and he did say that there was potential talks between the two because they share the same agent. And before we went live, I was speaking to KG, and KG was like, yeah, they got the same agent. So I was like, okay, cool, so that makes sense. However, for Fabinho even to say this now, knowing kind of like I won't say repercussions, but what the story is going to come out and kind of do, it says to me that they've already spoken and he's trying to line something up. Whether it actually happens is another thing, because it all comes down to money. It don't matter what it is, because when it comes down to Liverpool, we already know, unless we put up the funds, we ain't getting the player. However, I do like the sweet talking thing, and Rafinha going away to Brazil to play with Fabinho and Alisson. He understands now what it's like, to go to maybe a different setting, a different place where now he's like, you know what? Oh, Fabinho and Ali, these men are right, these men are cool. Like maybe we could team up still. Bit like, LeBron James, AD, Russell Westbrook, like KG knows what I'm talking about. They could do a little team up thing. So, but we'll have to wait and see. There's a long way to go. But all jokes aside, there's a long way to go. I will say this. We're not the only team. And Kay made that clear. And I understand that. We're not the only team. Rafinha's balling out. He's balling out for Leeds. He's balling out for Brazil. He's adding more value to himself right now. And it's going to make it hard for anybody to purchase, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Kay, but you guys aren't in any financial worry, so to speak. So unless
we've got money from our Italian owner and the 49ers. So we're not in no desperate need to sell anybody. So it has to be at our price.
Yeah. And if I'm being honest right now, Leeds strike me as they're a team where if they want to keep him, they'll try their hardest. And I think for him to move, whether it's to us or someone else, I think he might have to kick up a fuss, for me personally. But I would obviously love to see him join Liverpool, but whether it happens, I don't know.
I mean, KG, obviously, I've got to come to you next, because obviously you're the person who this means the most to with all this talk. So there's two things I want to ask you. The first thing is obviously the same question I asked Matt about Rafinha and how do you feel about what Fabinho said and that. But firstly, just to start off with, your owner, who is obviously a baller himself, but obviously nowhere near as rich as the Newcastle owners, was one of the biggest people about being vocal that financial fair play is a thing that he believes in and should be put in place so that everybody is kind of on the same playing field. And your club is run properly and you don't do stupid things. You're a little bit like us in regards to, regardless of whether you've got money, you do things in a business where you don't just go around splashing money or whatever. But how did you feel hearing your owner kind of bait about the fact that he ain't going to be spending big boy money? This is about more doing it in a business rather than like just splashing the cash.
No, listen, we've been there when we've balled out, and look where it got us. So we've learned the harshest lesson of all the clubs, because we had the fall from grace for anyone that's old enough. It's not even speakable. It's horrible to even talk about. So
yeah, for anyone who remembers the Chapman days, scoring the winning goal, winning the league, was it 19?
I'm not even talking about that far back. I'm talking about a bit closer.
But the glory days. No, but those are the glory days that a lot of people probably don't even realize. Like Leeds actually winning the league
No,
in
but
like was
he's
it
talking about
1990,
Rio.
91?
He's talking about
Yeah,
Harry
yeah. I'm
Kewell.
talking
Duker
about
and
when
all
our
that.
Champions League squad got
Yeah,
Okay,
dismantled.
okay,
And
yeah,
his,
yeah,
Held
yeah,
down on the
yeah,
and
yeah.
his, we lost Bowyer for 500,000. Woodgate for 9 million. It was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, in regards to the owner, I mean, I'm not with all of that thing. What the other 19 teams have done, I got to be honest. If Newcastle got the owner, they've got the rich owners. That's on them. They were the club chosen, in my opinion. I really don't have time for that. You manage your money the way that you manage it. Because look, we've seen ourselves. We've got Llorente in for 17 million. Yes, he's made a glass a bit at the minute. But him 17, Rafinha 17, you do your business well enough. You don't need to worry about what other people are spending. That's my opinion on that. I understand where he's coming from because Newcastle, they're allowed to spend a lot of money coming up because they haven't really spent none in the previous years.
Yeah.
But the thing is now, Newcastle will be looked at like Manchester United, Man City, where say you're Everton and they want Decore. If Arsenal came in for Decore, it'd be 30 million, but Newcastle come in, it might be 55, so they're always going to be paying above market price for their players now because people know what they've got. So it's going to work. It's going to work both ways. In regards to Rafinha, players talking is nothing new. It's like what I was saying about Harry Kane and all the Man City, Liverpool players talking to him, Chelsea players talking to him like, well, we got the Champions League final, we're competing for leagues, and then he's just like, oh, yeah, okay, great. They all talk, so that's not a surprise to me. And why wouldn't Fabinho want his countryman at Liverpool? Why wouldn't you want him there? The thing is, what people have got to understand though is that Rafinha is a top baller. Don't let the fact that he's playing at Leeds distract you. That he couldn't play for any of the top teams in the world. It's just that now he's at Brazil. Now he's born out for Brazil. More people are going to get used to it now and say, yeah, he could come to Man United, Liverpool, whatever. But you're also going to have the money. And yesterday's price is not today's price. So, what you thought you was going to pay before, you're going to have to pay a little bit extra now because the value is going up. It's a bit like Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips is about to sign a new deal, but that will have a minimum release clause in it. I'm not. You're talking to me. I'm not a deluded fan. That's going to have a release clause where it's going to say, like a Jack Grealish one, if a Champions League Cup comes in for me at a certain price, I can go. And I think it's going to be the same with Rafinha. We're going to have a valuation. And this is on Rafinha too. What you guys, if you don't know about him, he was very insulted that Ren only sold him for 17 million. And he said that.
I remember you saying,
I've seen
yeah, he said, I cannot believe that I was only 17 million. He found that as an insult. So we're not going to insult him. And he's worth much more to us. Yeah. So you're going to have to go for the asking price. And it is as simple as that. And that asking price will be upwards of 70 million. People will think it's excessive, but you guys want him badly. I've seen the comments, people. I've seen all you Liverpool fans. Oh, he's coming next summer, Rafinha 2022. Well, if that's the case, you're going to have to cough up something serious, okay?
Just quickly, Kay, as well, yeah. Just from your perspective, yeah. Do you think this is his last season? Like, do you generally think this is his last season?
What was that? Sorry, man.
You see the way how he's playing right now, and he's playing at a really top level. And I think he's actually going to maintain it. I don't think there's going to be a fall off either. Yeah, I think he'll be your player of the season. Do you think this is his last season? Like, can you sense it, or do you think, do you know what? I think he might give us one more after this one. Like, what does your gut say to you as well?
Listen, I've been clear all along. It obviously it's worse when you see the reports because it's like it makes it more real, doesn't it? It's like, oh god, it could happen. But I've been consistent with it. I think he's above a mid-table league level, and I've got no problem saying that. Since he came in the country, he hasn't needed no adapting time. That's something else that's very key. He came in straight away and showed what he was about. And as the time's going on, he's just making himself even more creative. I mean, Fabinho even said himself, teams know that they need to double up on him because he's our key man. He's our most creative player. And it's true. There's no denying that because unlike St. Maximin and a few of these other pretenders, this guy's got an end product. So he's got the full package. He's 24, 25, So, yeah, listen, it wouldn't surprise me if he's gone next summer. I do hope that he's not going to Liverpool because it will make this show very, very, very unbearable for me. I hope he goes anywhere else. I hope he goes out the country. But listen, I'll be clear. I don't feel any attachment to players that play for Leeds United. I haven't done since Harry Kewell left. But he is the first one where I've been like, man, I hope we can keep him as long as possible. But I'm very realistic too. But it's going to take a lot of money.
Nah, fair point, man. Cal, just before I get you to read out the latest super chats before we move on to the preview part for the weekend, bro. Just quickly want to ask you, on that whole, he was insulted that he was only 17 mil. Is there a little part of you that would be a bit worried that that's a bit prima donna-ish?
No,
no.
Because
I like
no. The only reason I ask the question is because 99.9% of the time, a footballer will always tell you they don't care what their fee is, and that's just for the clubs to sort out. So for someone to actually come out and be bothered by it, is that not a bit too self-involved?
Nah, I love it. I love it. It's confidence. It's confidence in his ability.
You know,
like, all right, so let's look at other values, Drift. And I'm not even trying to just dump on players. Iwobi went for 30 mil. Rafinha and Iwobi, bruv. Look at the difference.
But should he be bothered about that though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it makes him look like he's not that guy. It makes him look like he's just basic. It's not like he's left with like in January, for example, when his contract was ending in the summer. It's like they've gone...
But do we not always say that footballers should never care about how much they cost though?
No, they should. They should, bruv. Why should
you think they should?
Yeah, man. If you're in the peak or coming to the peak and someone wants to buy you, show me how much you think I'm worth. Show me how good I am.
Yeah,
hold on, guys. So how comes the argument is always it's not fair that the player costs that much? We put too much pressure on him. His price tag is not his fault. Because that is always labelled at anyone who goes for big money.
Yeah, because Drift. Not a lot of players are built like these guys. It's just right. Like, let's go with the example of when Messi signed his new deal at Barcelona. Then Ronaldo's knocking on Madrid's door saying, "Hey, what am I worth now?" It's the same thing. These guys are competitive. You see in Rafinha when he's on the pitch with some of our lot. When he makes a pass and the goal don't go in, he's screwing.
Yeah,
like he's going mad. He's like, I just did all of that, and this is and that's what you're doing. So he's somebody that wants to win, and he took a chance on himself. By the way, he left Rennes when they weren't going to do much in the Champions League, in all fairness, but they got to the Champions League, and he said, "I'm going to prove myself in England," and he's done that. You know what I mean? So I've got no problem with players believing in themselves.
He bet on himself, and not only that.
I just thought I'd ask one of those because we always say the price doesn't matter. So I just thought, is it a bit prima donna-ish to care about how much you cost? Like that's not your business, really. You're just supposed to sign your contract, pick the club you want to go to, and then just play ball, innit?
Well, I just think maybe it's confidence because he kind of knows, like, right. Even though I know there's that saying there's fine line between like the confidence and arrogance, but I think he's confident in his ability, and he's probably looking around thinking, right, I only went for 17, and right, I know who I am, and I'm seeing other players. And maybe he shouldn't have said that. He maybe didn't need to say that, but he did. And do you want to know something? It's very few players that would even say that. And I think that just goes to show you the ability or the confidence that he has in himself. And I think he's only showing it right now, brother. And I'm telling you, 17 mil was a great deal, but you also have to give Leeds credit more so because they done the scouting and they said, yo, Rafinha, 17 mil. Leeds must have been like, raw, we are snapping him. And then you go and look at some other people that do crazy business. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look who went the year before. Yeah, exactly. Look who went the year before.
They went to France as well, bro. They both went to France.
Yeah, Lepe.
Boy, listen, I'm just asking the questions and big up Lewis as well, because everyone who's really like Lewis is actually really ill, so it's actually a massive credit that he jumped on the stream today. So
yeah, guys, one like and equals one prayer for me because
I hit them prayers right now, people, for Lewis. You know what I mean? But big up for jumping on anyway, bro.
And can I just say to that, Drift, as well, because I want to make my position clear as well. I love when players come out and say they're going to do something and they do it. Because you know what, there's a lot of players that think they're all that and they're not about that life. You know what I'm saying? True. But the ones that do come out and say, I am this, I am that, and they prove it, I love that. That's why I love Cristiano Ronaldo, because he doesn't just say I'm the best. He tries to prove it and he proves it as well.
I rate that about him too.
So give me all of that every day over a humble guy that scores 30 and goes, oh well, it's all about the team. I hate all that stuff. That kind of gets on my nerves. It's boring. So give me a character and confidence over a humble thing all day of the week. So yeah.
You know what? Yes, I really didn't want to add to it, but I have to say something personal about that because I get where you're coming from, Kate, on like a 90% scale, but I'm taking, for team harmony and ability combined, I'm taking a Kante over a Cristiano because I don't like how Cristiano undresses everybody and makes it all about him. And Kante's just walking around, super world class, humble as fuck, causing no issues and don't care about nothing but performing. I don't like the way Ronaldo makes it all about him, so I can say it can go different ways in that.
Yeah, but in the locker room, Rafinha's a very well-liked guy. He's settled into the league's locker room. He hasn't caused no problems, anything like that. He just shows his talents on the pitch and hopes that other players can follow suit. That is it with him. And in all fairness, Ronaldo's getting props from the players at Man United too. So yes, he comes across as that, but it's like this thing where people always think Messi's this humble guy, but I've heard of Ronaldo stopping for kids a lot more than Messi does. But you know what? I won't speak on that. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about what you think. Because Ronaldo looks the way he does, he always gets more stick than someone like Messi, because Messi just looks like he's humble, but he's not. Messi will stop training sessions because it's raining.
Do you know what? I'm not necessarily just talking about the player in terms of like his real life. I mean more like what we can obviously see on the pitch, because we don't know what they're like in their real life. But I mean on the pitch, you know, the way like Ronaldo wants everything to be about him, and you can clearly tell that he actually will disrupt team play almost.
No, it's just a notion of man just going, nah, it's raining.
Do you know why that didn't make me? The reason why that didn't make me laugh, yeah.
It's over.
That didn't make me laugh because I hate the rain. Like I remember I told Matt this one time. I hate the rain so much. If it's Grand Theft and it starts raining, I'll go in the house or get in the car. I hate the rain. So like I fully get man not wanting to play in the rain. Like fuck
you say
the rain.
On the game.
Bro, if I'm playing Grand Theft and it starts raining in the game, I get in the whip, bro. I'm not just gonna make the man stand there and just get all wet up like that, bro. That's bad, man, bro. So, but anyway, let's get off of the Rafinha team, because at the moment it's just talk, and we will see. And all banter aside, KG's actually got a point. Liverpool aren't about that life, and we don't have 70 mil to go and get Rafinha. So there's no part of me that's even going to exercise Wagwan. Basically, what Fabinho's doing is what we all did. We said, Mum, can I have the Reebok pumps for Christmas? How much are they? £130. Are you mad? Put them down, go pick up something else. What about from the catalogue? What, so I can be paying it off for 2 years? You're mad. Go pick up something else. That Flacco's trying to do that. He's trying to ask FSG if they will buy Rafinha. We know we're not going to get Rafinha.
But listen, Kop-Ish fans and subscribers, don't worry, because the boys will be back next week with a Are We Signing Rafinha show, and also after earning Haaland's pick today, can we get Haaland too? Don't worry about it, guys. It's coming.
Yeah, Liverpool might not have the finances for that, but Chelsea, on the other hand,
listen,
might be able to throw you a little Ziyech the other way as well.
No, we don't want Ziyech, bro.
No.
You know what?
Well.
After that, what KG just said, I hope we fucking get him in January now. I hope we fucking get him in January. I hope FSG pull the biggest madness they've ever pulled, and all of a sudden, we're just like, yo, KG, it's happening, bro.
KG
and just flood the group, bro.
Just went and tried to sabotage our roadmap for the week. That was supposed to be a lead.
You know there was a KG heard where we were going and just ripped the page out, and we're in the car on the day and we're like, hold on a minute. There's a page. The page is missing you, man. I don't even...
All I'm saying, KG, if we get Rafinha now, we are getting your Liverpool top with Rafinha on the back.
100%.
Yeah, man. Listen, I didn't spoil your whole show back because I didn't talk about Genie coming back on loan with PSG paying all the wages. Don't worry about it, man.
Hey, KG.
You know what? He's smoking us, but I'm dropping the beat for KG, bro. I rated KG. I rate it, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Bro, I can't help. KG makes me laugh, bro. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
rate it, bro.
Another man would sit there and get fully vexed and I don't even know, but no, I give it to you, man.
KG is fully the mama or papa fox protecting the cubs from somebody trying to
Bruv,
come
he's
and take
prepared.
them.
Bruv,
100%.
it's no
100%.
coincidence we were going to talk about Rafinha and my man's got on his lead shirt. He came to play.
Not only a league shirt, but the Rafinha shirt that the club sent me, please.
This is what I'm saying.
Oh shit! Come on, but no, you know, Cal, just quickly, if we got any more super chats before I get into the prediction part of the show, bro.
I'll do that now. All right, so Jamrock says that's why a base plus incentives are necessary regarding player wages.
I agree with that 100%.
AA says Drift, Allison, Klopp, Fabinho. Their parents have all died and they couldn't go to the funeral. If it was another job, they would have all went to the funeral. Fair point.
I agree with that. By the way, every time someone puts my name in the thing, I am just the host, guys. Can everybody not hold me now to the standard of the questions? I have to come in with questions or there's nothing to talk about. I feel like now everyone's thinking like these are my opinions. These are just questions for the show, guys. But yeah, go on.
I know the feeling, Drift. I know the feeling very well, bro. Jamrock says, not me, Haile Selassie. Jamrock's not, he's not a Rafinha guy. Jamrock's not a Rafinha guy.
Jamrock actually thinks he's only around 50 at value, so if it's more than that, then we shouldn't really do it, yeah.
He's also gone on to say, Drift, you're acting as if it's 70 mil up front. It wouldn't be. Jamrock, even if it wasn't up front, I still don't know if we can do it.
FSG dibbled and dabbled over 5 up front and then 5 every year for Thiago. Like, I have no faith they will ever push the boat out for Rafinha at all.
Just to say, Mr. Sinclair, I am working on the scenes behind the scenes very hard to make this happen. Double deal, summer 2022. Hashtag KG316 and Turkish.
Now, the way KG is moving, we're looking at 2036 from. It'll take a long time, bro.
We're only getting KG if Leeds go out of business. That's the only way we're getting KG. And he still feels like man's got hostility towards us. That man will pick someone else anyway.
We're waiting on Lewis's contract to run down, so maybe aiming around 2023 for Lewis.
We're gonna need to add at least another 10 years to that.
No. We just need Chelsea. We need Chelsea to have a bad season. Thomas Tuchel to get sacked. Then next season, you're able to put the flag up, and then things will start crumbling, and then we'll swoop in.
You think I won't have a special World Champions one though after we win the Club World Cup?
Oh my days, they've already won it, you know. Rotted.
Actually, let me not speak too much.
Yeah, you better not. You'll be on the show.
I forgot about Corinthians. Bun them, man, but we moved.
Yeah, is that all in the super chats now, Cal? Yeah.
Bro.
Okay. So to finish up the show, guys, obviously we're gonna get into the weekend. The Premier League is back. Finally, the Premier League is back. And again, KG hit the nail on the head. There were actually some really fun international games. It just feels different, innit? Like, I loved the Italy and Spain game. That game was so fun to watch. Like, it really was quite almost like an old school throwback. And then in the final, Spain-France, that was a wicked game as well. So there were some really fun games, do you know what I mean? But Prem's back. This is what we want. This is what we love. We've obviously done the prediction, Cal, but I'll just quickly get it out of the way because obviously you weren't part of it. How do you feel the game with Liverpool and Watford will go at the weekend, bro?
I'm going 2-1 Liverpool. I don't expect to see Alisson and Fabinho play. I have no problems with Kelleher being in goal every now and again. I actually think he's a good goalkeeper. Touch wood, that doesn't come back to bite me. But I've got no issues with Kelleher. My issue is without Fabinho there and the fact we've got so many injuries in midfield. It means Henderson's going back into DM, who plays centre midfield as well. So it's like midfield is the one that really worries me, especially when Fabinho's there. We're not the same team. It seems as though Jota and Trent are going to be fit, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 win, but I don't think it'll be an easy game.
Fair dues. Just quickly, thanks for bringing that up, Matt. Just quickly to just let everyone know: Leicester, Man United, Man City, Burnley, Norwich, Brighton, Southampton, Leeds, Brentford and Chelsea, and Aston Villa, Wolves are the other games at the weekend. looking at those fixtures before I get onto the Leeds and the Chelsea game, I'm quite surprised the Man United game is a 3 o'clock kickoff because I think Leicester and Man United is like a really big game. I know in the table Leicester aren't doing that well, but are you guys surprised that's a 3 o'clock game? Because I am.
Yeah, I am actually.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I would have thought that would have been the early kickoff.
Yeah.
It's quite a strange one. Like, I would genuinely not complain if it was Watford Liverpool at 3 p.m. based on the quality of the game. Like, and it was Man U and Leicester at the 12. Like, I am actually quite surprised Man United is the 3 o'clock game.
Even put it on the Sunday because I'm looking at Everton, West Ham, and Newcastle Spurs. I suppose the Man United game kind of trumps those two other fixtures as well. I'm even surprised.
I don't know. Everton West Ham is a tasty game still, and with Newcastle now being brought out and a lot of attention on them, that game against Tottenham is an interesting game. So I don't know if I say it's a bigger game than those, but you're right, Matt. It definitely could have been a big game.
Yeah, but the Newcastle. No, for real. I was just going to say the Newcastle game is only big now because of the takeover. But remember, this was done before then. So really and truly, you still would have thought Man United game would have been ahead.
Yeah. That is true. Just quickly then, before we get on to the things, how do you think the Leicester Man U game will go? Just quickly, just on the score. KG, what do you think the Man U Leicester score will be?
Oh man. 1-1. 1-1. Leicester 1, Man United 1. Just draw. Leicester needs something, but I don't know, man. The Man United thing, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, you would think Man United would just easily win this one with Leicester in the form they're in, but I don't know. I'm gonna go for 1-1.
No, fair dues. Lewis, what do you think, bro?
Leicester are in terrible form this season. Like, we don't even need to sugarcoat it like that. But who better to help in a bad run of form than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? So I'm going to go 1-0 Leicester City because I think with the way Leicester City play, they are at their best where they're sitting deep and attacking you guys on the counter. And Manchester United are always the sort of team that fall into the same traps again and again. So I actually expect Leicester City to go and get a result in this game. Could be a draw. I think a draw might actually be like the easiest result to go for, but I don't know. I feel like Leicester City's form has to turn sooner or later, and Ollie tax in it. So yeah, we'll go 1-0 Leicester City.
Fair dues. I'm gonna go 2-2. I'm with KJ on this. I think it'll be a draw. I think one of the things that's happening to Leicester at the moment, which fair play to them, they bought Daka and they have Iniesta, which is actually a future proof. But I feel like Vardy is slowly showing his age. And that's not to say that I don't think that he's a good player.
Drift. Vardy's been on fire this season.
Yeah, still.
Like, he's literally been the shining light.
Alongside Salah,
he's been a saving glory.
No, but what I mean when I say that is he's not... He can still score goals, but he's not the Vardy of old that was so reliable in terms of just constantly making him running behind all. You know, like, they're used to a way of playing that I think it's not well suited to him at his age now. That's all it is. So,
Drift, I think a couple of problems Leicester have had is obviously Fofana's out, but another one is they just dropped Iheanacho from the start of the season, who was on fire in the second half.
That was a very weird decision.
That's strange for me. Yeah, that's strange for me that you've got Iheanacho, who was literally on fire the second half of last season, and he's being played like a cup striker. That's just weird. And he's still trying to persist with Maddison, who hasn't done nothing in the best part of a pregnancy. So I don't know what he's doing there.
Oh Lord.
Carol, Matt.
You've got to come to me next after.
Matt, what do you think Leicester Man United will be, bro?
Let me try to keep some composure. You know what? I did forget actually. Maguire and Varane are both out, which changes a lot for Man United. So that means maybe a Lindelof on Bailly
and Lindelof, yeah.
Now, I know some people automatically think if them two start, then Man United definitely lose. However, though, it doesn't always work like that. So I still think it's going to be a draw. I think Leicester, though, Leicester should be winning this game with the injuries that Man United have, but I just don't think it's going to be that simple. I'm going to go 1-1 still.
Fair dues. Cal, what are you thinking, bro?
I know it's going to sound weird, but every time I see Bailly play against Vardy, he seems to have Vardy's number. And that's not me saying Vardy's rubbish and Bailly's brilliant. He just seems to have his number. So I actually think this kind of works in United's favour. The away record United have got is very good as well. Can't be slept on. Leicester, to me, look like they're suffering a little bit from the Brendan Rodgers sort of fatigue that seems to happen to most of his teams. I'm actually going for a win for Man United. I'm going 2-1.
Fair dues, fair dues. I mean, Lindelof, I know everybody does have a go at him and stuff, and he's not the greatest. But I mean this with no shade. Lindelof experiencing that Man United defence, to me at this moment, isn't worse than Varane, based on Varane adapting and not looking that great so far. So I know that's just going to sound like I'm being shady, but I actually don't think Lindelof playing instead of Varane is that big of a deal. Maguire, funny enough, I think is the one that's the bigger loss to Man United at this moment in time than Varane is, but that's just my opinion anyway. I'm not going to ask you guys about the Man City Burnley game because I think we're all in agreement that Man City will smoke Burnley, so I don't think I need to go around the table.
Not everyone, but we'll move on.
And yeah, so on to the big one then. You know, Brentford and Chelsea and Leeds against Southampton, obviously, because the you boys teams playing. I'll start with UKG. Southampton, as I said before, I know you expect to beat them, but I did just try and throw that devil's advocate in that as much as they're not great and they're not performing great, they have pulled off good performances against bigger teams, and you are a bigger team. So there is a part of me that feels like they may play the similar tactics that they play against a Man United or a Man City, where they're not so concentrated on attack. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, for me, listen, the form doesn't lie. Southampton are not a good team. They lost a lot of key players. They, like I say, they hardly score any goals, and they're missing their James Ward-Prowse, who I don't rate. I want to make that very clear. But as a set piece guy, he's very good. So they're not even going to have that threat. Che Adams is out as well for this game. We're talking about overplaying players, by the way. This rolls in perfectly because we're talking about Rafinha probably starting for Brazil at 1:30 our time and trying to get them to play this game on Saturday too. So again, that goes with player care. But now for me, this is a simple win for us. We're winning this game, no problem. And I'm going to go 3-1, 3-1 to Leeds United. The thing is, what I'm saying is Southampton have literally got hardly any points this year. But because they're Southampton, no one's noticing it. No one cares. So that's the reason why it's always our Southampton, this and that. Then Livramento, good player. Yeah, good. But a right back's not going to beat us. We're going to do it. And I can see Dan James getting his first goal for Leeds this weekend.
I love the confidence. I love it. I love it. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like that level of confidence there. No, man, just ain't having it. Lewis, how are you feeling about your game against Brentford, which on paper should just be a dust up? But are you thinking what they've done against other big teams?
Return of the greatest London derby. Can't wait for it. Brentford versus Chelsea. This game is going to be a lot tricky. I was going to say a lot trickier than people make it out to be, but I actually think people are giving Brentford their due respect this season, and it is well deserved. They've had a really good start to life in the Premier League, and they're going to give us a strong challenge as well. I don't expect them to be in fear of us or be in awe of us or anything, and I expect the crowd to be up for it as well because it's going to be the first ever West London derby at that stadium. First time we've gone to Brentford's ground since 2013 in the FA Cup as well, and obviously with the players that they have, they are going to cause us problems. And also don't forget to take into account Anthony Taylor tax. We got that egghead refereeing another one of our Premier League games, so I'm expecting a minimum of one penalty, maybe a red card or two. So it's not going to be an easy game for us. Definitely not. But you know what? Anthony Taylor to score the winner. Actually, wouldn't put it past that. On a serious note, like I'm always going to back Chelsea to win. So I'm going to say 2-1 Chelsea. But like, if I take all bias aside of it, like, I could see a draw in this game. Only because Anthony Taylor tax is hefty like that. So I'm expecting some sort of fuckery to turn its head in this game. But let's hope VAR actually turns up for us for once. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea, but that's only because I want to just have some faith in my side. But when it's 12v11, anything can happen. Here's what it is. Also, while I have the spotlight, fuck Anthony Taylor.
Oh my god!
It's the monotone voice that kills it.
Yeah. It's just that. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. It's just that casual.
The way it's just like, oh, fuck Anthony Taylor. You're a G. I don't care. You're a G.
Oh, big up Jamrock, Dan James, Mr. Fast and Foolish.
Nah, that's a brilliant slander name. Nah, that's goated. That's goated.
That's all good. That's all good. Listen.
Man said Mr. Fast and Foolish, bro. No way.
He'll show you this weekend, man. It's coming, man.
I've got. No, Jamrock, that was actually some classic banter there.
I wish I could do the these with voice, man. It's all about family.
Oh man, I just had that tune in my head, you know that. I've just got that in my head now. Big up Yafu as well, says the way Matt speaks about Rafinha reminds me of when my friends always hype up my girl. Hey, whoa, bro, hold on,
bro. That don't let.
They shouldn't be hyping her too much. Like, what's going on there? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you gotta tell them, man, love it.
Yeah. Like, take time. Yafu Bridges. Calm down, man. Calm down, man.
This ain't Rafinha,
give her a flowers, but don't go too far. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm just basing that off of the way Matt gushes over Rafinha. That's kind of nuts, still.
Bro, Rafinha, bro.
Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, that's what it was. Like, if I don't know, if Black Beyonce and Rafinha both walked in the room at the same time, Matt might be like, "Oh shit, there's Rafinha, bro." Like,
if they both walked in the room, I'd be like, "You signing for Liverpool?" That's the first thing I'll be saying to him.
No.
So I got a couple more drift. Jamrock also said he'd rather use the 30 million euro price and sell Divock Origi, Taki Minamino, Ox, and bring in Chiesa.
Who?
Say that again? What?
Instead of paying 70 mil for
Rafinha,
he'd rather keep that money, also sell Divock Origi, Taki Minamino, and Ox, and bring in Chiesa.
So
you'd have to slap a good 70 mil on top of those sales to get Chiesa.
I know that's what he's saying. Now that's what he's saying.
Risky, though.
Yeah, he's saying his preference is Chiesa. I can understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's risky at the same time, because you know a lot of times we say this like, sell 3-4 man to get one man, bro. Your squad's
in all fairness, he said Ox. It's not like you're missing a lot there, is it?
Yeah, I was gonna say Ox, Origi, and Minamino barely play for us, so
I know, but even still, though, we have to be. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I understand the sell to buy thing. Not to 3 players to get one.
Not to go into a full scale conversation, because we are going to wrap up now. But just quickly on that Ox thing, while I've got you all here, is it weird, or are you lot like it's typical that it actually seems to be a real thing that Arsenal want to bring Ox back? What do you lot actually think about?
They're trying to get the band back together, innit? Wilshire's rock back up. We'll probably see Henry down there. Well, Vieira's at Crystal Palace. They're probably putting a bid for him in the January window. Like, Hleb's probably out doing something, bruv. Arshavin's probably down a pub somewhere drinking the premium vodka. They'll think, yeah, let's go and grab him. But Arteta ain't got a clue, bruv. I'm surprised I ain't got a phone call from him to see if I want to come and do something at the training ground. They're in a state down there, bruv. They're in an absolute state at Arsenal.
How's Jack Wilshere?
Bro, I thought Cal was going to be like a bit diplomatic about him. I was just like, they are an absolute...
But Jack Wilshere's gone back there. Do you know what his quote was? It's still the same Arsenal. Yes, bruv, we know that. Everyone's moved on and you man ain't. Like,
that's mad still.
That's all we know, bruv. Arteta's probably the one that lights Wilshere's cigarette after training, bruv. Like, you ain't got a clue, man. Them man are just yeah.
On that note,
let them do what they want to do. Ox ain't going back there, man.
No, on that note, it wouldn't surprise me if he does go back. But his career has fully stalled. Like,
not that bad.
No, bro, it has.
No,
It's
Cal,
full
Yes,
of-
come on,
He
Cal.
needs to move. He
I
needs
think
to go
I
to an
think he would
Arsenal.
go. I think he would go back to still be a club that has status because Ox
Bro,
does believe in himself. Because
Guys, all right.
let me,
All
no,
due
no, no,
respect.
Cal,
No,
let me
I've
say
got
this.
to ask you, what status does Arsenal have right now?
all right, I'm
Oh,
going to be
I'm
honest.
not talking about
Forget about where Arsenal are in the league. We can't be too disrespectful just for banter terms. If you've got a club like West Ham or Crystal Palace or the level of type of clubs that are probably be coming in for Ox, if he goes, Arsenal are better than playing for those clubs. They just are. Put the banter aside, and they just are, bro. Plus, he has an affiliation with them already anyway.
Serious question, Drift. What are you getting at Arsenal that you can't get at West Ham right now?
An easy ride.
West Ham won't go for Oxlade-Chamberlain. They've already done the injury-prone players, both with Wilshere and Andy Carroll. They've done it twice. They're not going to do that again.
Well, if Arsenal get Ox, it's because no one else went in for him.
Yeah.
If I'm Ox, I'm not choosing Arsenal over West Ham right now. But
The thing is, the whole thing with Ox, I don't know why you're all in back. The most impressive thing I've seen him do is that TikTok with Perry where he's going up and down the stairs. That's the most impressive thing I've seen Ox do since he's at Liverpool. So you might just want to get rid of him.
Don't be disingenuous. 17-18, he was good, KG.
Yeah, 17-18, Cal. Listen.
No, I know.
No, bro, even 1920. I think it was 1920 though. He actually had a good season, you know.
No, he scored some.
He got about 8 goals. He scored some good goals in the Champions League.
He did.
Decent goals. He's got some decent goals, bro.
The year we won the league, I think he actually got 8 or 9 goals that season. He's not as bad as you think he is. He's actually not as bad as you think he is.
This is 2021 we're talking about now. I'm not talking about what he's done previously. You can't go by he did this in the year you won the league.
No, bro. I'm saying
that's how teams get into trouble. That's how teams get into trouble. Oh, he helped us get promoted, so let's just keep him. So
I'm saying he can. I've got.
It was just a bit disingenuous to say he hasn't done anything. That's where it's like I've got to back him on that. He has done stuff, but you're right. In the last year, obviously,
I said in the last year, that was the most impressive thing he's done. It was a great TikTok video. It was amazing. So that's all I'm saying. But you can't just live on past performance. Otherwise, we'll be keeping players forever until they're ready to retire. Don't work like that.
No, of course. That's why I think the majority of the fan base wouldn't mind if he goes. I don't think no one. And it sounds. People might not want to hear this, but no one's going to cry if he leaves. Like, no one's going to be upset. They're just going to accept it and go, he never made it at Liverpool because of his injuries and he was too inconsistent. That's what they'll say about Ox.
Yeah, hold on. SS is saying that. I've always said he's been crap. If I did say that, I didn't mean to say it. But what I'm saying is lately, he's not giving you anything that you need as a club that is trying to compete for the league. That's what I meant to say. He may have started out well, but this guy has always been injury prone. So you might have him for 1 week, but you don't know if he's going to play the next week. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, that's facts. That's facts. There's no Liverpool fan that will disagree with that. That's facts. Promo here said, I think he's making a good point here, Promo. I think she is a Geordie, isn't it? I'm sure
Perry.
She actually is Perry. I'm sure she's a Geordie.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, I think she is.
Would Newcastle get Ox?
Well, because Ox will be an easy person to have as a name to help you when you're building that brand when you are starting from the base level. Because they don't care if they got to get rid of him.
But they still need someone reliable, though.
No, but at the beginning, basically what Ox would be a couple of pretty girls in the club while you're trying to get them to come in. You know them ones where the guys come up to you in the street and they're like, all right, do you want to come to a rave? We've got this, take this thing, fly, you get drinks or whatever. And then you go with like, Ox will be the beginning. He won't be there in 2 or 3 years' time.
Still?
Is
that how the nightlife works in Newcastle? Just asking for a friend. Says we have zero chance of signing anyone above 60 mil, and FSG is a type of folks who negotiate missions of Grand Theft Auto. I don't know games, so that's gone completely over my head, isn't it? Promo says Ox is a thick Kieran Dyer with more hair. Oh, that's
Kieran Dyer, huh?
That's a
you know what?
Kieran Dyer is another one.
You know what? That's kind of a good shout.
I know.
It's kind of a good shout.
It hurts to hear it. Ash said best part of pregnancy, KG or the MVP this week. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You and Lewis have been sick today still. Like the Anthony Taylor stuff as well. That was legendary as well. Jamrock, no, done those ones. And Jamrock says, Drifty did not hear you when Klopp said he was surprised bids didn't come in for Ox. He was on the block and Klopp was okay with it. No bids came in.
So, and he said the same with that Origi as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said the same with that. So
Quite
you guys
open
have
with
got
it,
players that
very
you try.
open.
Yeah, you guys have got players you're
Yeah.
openly trying to move, and no one's coming in for them, and there's reasons behind that.
Mm. And Lord Walker says all having fun in KG crop dust before
Crop
leaving.
dust. What?
Crop dust.
I have no idea what.
I
crop
thought I was
dust
the only
means.
one that was just like, what? Crop dust?
I'm guessing crop dust is some kind of like just come in and just bruck up the whole thing and
Probably,
just drop a bomb in the middle of it all, because that's what KG's been doing all day. Trust me.
KG's just been throwing landmines, bruv. All
Yeah,
shot.
proximities
bro.
and that,
He
like
has.
just you know, what I mean, you can't even open the door.
For real.
and just busting off the grenade and dashing it, bruv. Just throwing it in.
Hey, wait a minute. Did we get your score predictions for the Brentford, Chelsea, and Leeds, Southampton?
No, we didn't. But I just wanted to ask you guys
Oh,
first.
okay, right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just quickly then, guys. Obviously, I'm gonna go 2-1 Chelsea and Brentford, and I'm going to go. So I'm saying Chelsea will win that game 2-1, and
Okay.
I think Leeds will beat Southampton 1-0.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm going
Wait,
2-0 Chelsea and 3-0 Leeds.
Cool. And Matt?
I'm going Chelsea 2-0 and Leeds 2-0.
Cool. KG, what do you think about the Chelsea Brentford game, bro?
Yeah, I think this is where Chelsea will show that they're serious about the league. And I think that they'll go to this place where everyone is loving it. You know, Brentford are this year's Leeds, you know, like 2 years ago, Sheffield United. And I think Chelsea will get the job done. I think it'll be 2-1.
Fair dues. Lewis, what do you think about the Southampton Leeds game, bro?
I see goals from both sides in this game, but I do expect Leeds to also edge this one. I think I'll go with KG's score, to be honest. I'll go 3-1 Leeds, because I think it's going to be that sort of open game, but I think Leeds just have so much more quality on Southampton. And they also need to get the points up as well. Both teams do need to, but again, quality will show in the sort of games, so I expect Leeds to take over.
Cool, man. And just to finish up just quickly, because I just realised I didn't ask you guys, so sticking with you, Lewis, what do you think the Watford-Liverpool score will be?
Watford-Liverpool.
Yeah.
We'll go 3-0 Liverpool. Should absolutely whitewash them. No real big talking points on there. Just expect you lot to dominate and batter them.
I hate that pressure. KG, what are you thinking about Watford-Liverpool, bro?
Yeah, I'm Liverpool all the way on this one. I think Salah, he's just too much now. And he'll be looking at Watford and thinking, I'm going to feast on these lads. So I'm saying 3-0 Liverpool.
Fair dues. Crop dust is when you come in and pop up the place, man said, yeah? Okay.
And start laying it around as well. Mad thing.
Okay.
What
And then
kind of analogy is that, man?
I have no idea, bro.
Yeah,
I have no idea, bro.
But no, big up everyone as always who's been in the chat. You know what I mean? It's been a blast. If you're watching afterwards, obviously leave your comments on how you feel about the whole players. Did they get overpaid and all that kind of stuff? And everything that Courtois was talking about. Leave a prediction for the upcoming games. Make sure you get over to KG and Lewis's channels and subscribe as well, guys. Make sure you hit a like on this video right now. And I just want to give a big shout out to everyone who made sure that our Monday video hit 1.2k on the likes. So Cal will be adding 0.5 to the player ratings. I'm very thankful.
Hold on. Wait. When did this happen? What Monday show was that? I thought this had been stopped now.
Oh no! It happened a long time ago, and it's factual proof in the WhatsApp that I sent to make sure you knew at the right time. So it didn't just happen now; it happened within the 24-hour restriction. It happened before it, bro. Trust me, and there's proof in the WhatsApp group, so you can go back and you can see. Look at his face.
I didn't even know about this.
Yeah. Obviously, afterwards I'm going to take, because I made sure I saved it in there. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be back for the call-in show as well, guys, as always. So make sure you catch us on that. You know what I mean? And big up to everyone who's watching now. As I said, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And we will be back with the Prem panel show same time next week with an update this time on the Fantasy League, because obviously Fantasy Premier League back now. So things are the same as last week. So we'll do an update next week on that one. So get your captains at the ready. And on Monday, we'll also be doing a catch-up for the Kopish actual main thing, which I think Scoop is still at the top, if I'm not mistaken. Scoop's still winning on the Fantasy League as well. So we'll update that on Monday as well, guys. So till next week, big up yourselves, KG, Lewis, bless her, especially Lewis being ill as well, man. Big up yourself for coming in today. And happy birthday again to Aaron as well, man. We'll catch you next week, people. Oh, no, hold on. Jamrock, just quickly. How do we value players who don't play for LFC? Oh, it's a
fair point. Drifty personal note: eat more veggies. 15 minutes.
Yeah, do you know what? I saw you say something about that. I'm not even gonna lie, big man. As a man, I think a 15-minute shit is standard.
I don't know, bro. But for me, it ain't.
15 minutes.
Oh, man. All right.
But anyway, on that,
No.
We're going fully left here.
Yeah. And I do. And
that was for you crapping on our locker room glue ox.
Yeah. Basically, because it was the shade towards to Ox. We get it. KG's gonna come. We're gonna have to start preparing ourselves for this fire, because I'm not even gonna
listen. This would be a lot easier then for you guys just to give me a list of all these players that don't do much on the pitch but a locker room glue. Just give me that list. It would make it a lot easier for myself.
I'm gonna start doing a Bielsa, some Spygate, start finding out some dirt on Leeds. I'm not even gonna lie, because man, I feel like Drake right now. Man's just exposing us, and we're just sitting back, and we don't even know what the hell's just happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? Man's gonna have to start doing. I'll have to make this Spygate 2021. Trust me. But people, catch you tomorrow, and obviously next week for the Prem Panel Show. We're out. Peace.